How about now? Hello, hello. Test, test. All right. That was weird. Well, I did answer your question, but I'll answer it again. Yes, they're free. They're almost always options and they're almost always swing trades. So, yes to all three. There we go. Okay, that was weird. We'll be getting started in a few minutes, folks. Sorry about that.
Good morning, everybody. Or actually, yeah, it is still morning. Hello, everybody. Hey, Kane, how are you? Good to see you here. Brendan, Tara, Ken. Let's see here. Nathan, did you guys see the SMSI? Yeah, we did. We did. Came out and said they have been cooking the books. Oy, oy, oy. Not good. Not good. Not good. Not good. Yeah, Ken. Yes, Kane is going to be speaking today. For sure. That's not good. Cook books. Very bad. Very, very bad. Not a good look for that stock. Uh,
How's the camera look today, Roger?
what'd you say?
How's the camera look?
Let's take a look. Camera's looking great. Good look at you here. Oh, see, this is now looking like it's supposed to be looking. What did you do? You adjusted it?
Nah, I did nothing. I think it's all about the color of shirt that I wear.
I don't know what it is, but the camera looks fantastic. And I'm looking at you at full screen. It looks good. Weather's great. It's just a little overcast. Not really much going on right now. Um, nice weather. Nothing really crazy going on. Kane is going to give us his Telegram channel, and he'll give you. He will be speaking a little later today. I'm just waiting for the room to fill up. I'm looking to see if I want to take a trade right now on something. Certain things are looking volatility, and I don't want to miss out on a trade opportunity. Interesting, very interesting. I guess I'll wait. All right. Richard says I'm behind you. All right. Did anybody now we could talk? So this morning when we were on our morning call, I teased you a little bit about a trade that we did. Excuse me, in the pit. And I could talk about it now because the trade is closed and it was a swing trade. So there's no excuse for anybody who didn't want to hold it. Now, did anybody take MSTR and close the trade out? Let us know. Curious to know. Good. 10%. Kathy got 60%. Michael's still holding. Richard did. Wow, look at that. Don made money. All right. So now let me explain to you the trade, okay? Because I wanted to explain I was dying to explain the trade to you this morning, but I didn't want to give away the Matt. Are you grabbing all of that?
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, now see, I was in a good mood till now. Stopped out at 10%. You mean stopped out at a 10% profit, Mike, or you stopped out at a loss? Oh, good. Okay, okay, okay. Do you guys want to know how I came up with that trade? Are you interested? Murray, how are you? Ken, how are you? Good to see you guys. Got three yeses, four yes. Not that many people really care. Not that many people really care, Matt. They're like, hell with it. All right, I'll show it to you. All right, a few people do. Show you how I came up with that trade. Let me go ahead and put my screen on. There's a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about actually. Um, that really relevant and it's coming up right now because we're seeing volatility. One of those times that I would rather be trading is what it is. You guys are more important. I hate always being the kick can. I'm not kicking you, Sean. I'm doing anything. Due to lost in other comments. Comments? What comments? says buy, it said buy MSTR, and then they gave you a price. Yeah, I'll give you the trade right now. Always somebody who's not happy. Always somebody who's unhappy. That's I guess it's true. You just can't please everybody. Um, all right, here we are. I'm just pulling up my thing and there you go, Nestor. I'm gonna just share my screen with you guys so we can all be on the same page here. All right. I still have it up here. That's true too, Bob. Good point. All right. So, so pull up the stock. Okay. It was not marked with a. Yes, I know that, Katie. I'm sorry. I apologize. You're right. It wasn't marked. My apologies. My apologies. Thank you, John. I appreciate it. You're right about that. It wasn't marked. I didn't have an emoji in front of it. I apologize. There was no emoji. She's right. Right. That's my fault. Nice, Richard. Good morning to you too. Good morning and good morning. Grab all of those, Matt.
I did.
Okay. So I take it most people are pretty happy with what we got. So how did this trade come about? Every morning, I've Jeff, we don't even have rain here. I mean, it's just a little cloudy, nothing going on here that remotely resembling anything to do with rain. What is this? Todd says, I don't care about the emojis. Hey, trades. Yeah, so Clyde's at home. He's safe. School is closed for 2 days. I don't know why here, but there's nothing going on. There's like nothing going on. It's slightly overcast. I was just outside 5 minutes ago. There's just nothing going on at all. I'd love to tell you there's a huge hurricane and all that, but there's just nothing going on. Nice, Karen. Nice, Richard. Good, good, good. There are some people who actually listen. God bless. So, how did I come up with this trade? Let me explain. Every morning, I show you this little graph here, and I do it every morning, including this morning. Show you this little graph, and I show you which sectors are leading and which sectors are lagging. This is right now. So let's go back to yesterday. This is last night and this morning and the last few days. Look, Wednesday night. Remember, this is always on a 24-hour back. So Tuesday, what was leading here? This is Tuesday night. Bitcoin, and semiconductors. Okay. And the other day, Bitcoin and semiconductors. Okay. All right. So we knew it's definitely a win, Bob. Yeah, I agree with you. Good, Michael. Good. So let me explain to you how I come up with this trade. It's important. So, um, I like Bitcoin last couple of days, but how do I trade Bitcoin? We trade stocks, right? So I made a little mental note from my morning analysis that I do for free for all of you every morning. And I made a little mental note that Bitcoin has been really moving up for the last few days. Then I went to Google and I went to Bitcoin price and I saw that Bitcoin was moving up pretty good last few days. So I got a confirmation. This is literally how I did this trade. I'm not kidding. I'm not like hiding anything from you, like literally. And then I remembered that this company, MSTO. Oh, well, Roger. So here's the question that someone's going to ask. Well, Roger, why didn't you just go into semiconductors? Well, remember my rule? No buying semiconductors till we're at 265. Remember that? So that's great to hear. So right here, you could see that not there yet. So can't buy semiconductors. It's against the law. Rogers law. Against the law. So Bitcoin. Also, I knew that Micron earnings were coming out. So there's no way I was going to put myself in or you guys in a risks way because what if Micron earnings were crap? So Bitcoin was the only answer. Then I remembered as I was looking through my charts, this company right here is essentially a Bitcoin company. They basically have given up on their business model if they all they do is just buy Bitcoin. No joke. Look, show you. Hey, look, MSTR Bitcoin correlation, analyzing their strategy, correlation with peers, MSTR versus Bitcoin. People just buy this stock instead of Bitcoin. So, oh, nice, Richard. Nice. Tim, you're back with your investor place. There you go. So, so basically, I wanted to be in tech. I didn't want to be in chips, but I wanted to be in tech, but I didn't want to be in chips. And I wanted to find something that had really strong exposure uh to cryptos. That's how the stock came about. And because of that, and then I made sure to have good relative strength and all that other stuff because this stock was breaking out. It had a really great chart. So that's the first thing I wanted to that's the first thing I wanted to show you. There's one more thing I wanted to show you. Tim, I'm going to have Matt as soon as he comes back from getting lunch, I'm going to have him exclude you from the room. Look at you, Vivek. Where did you get all those trades from? Under. Ask him. I don't know. Chris, why don't you ask him? Maybe he'll answer your question. Yeah, exactly, JT. That's what I just said. So now I want to show you something else. And this is something that I hope you all take notes on right now. I'm going to dive a little deep, okay? So I want to show you something interesting. Okay. Actually, I could still show you this. Now, I explained it to everybody in the pit, but I think it would be better if I explain it to everybody here. Mike, you got the wrong ticker symbol. Not MNSTR, Daniel, MSTR, the one I have here on my screen. You guys can see my screen, right? I'm sharing my screen. Yes. All right. So I want to show you guys something. I want to show you guys something. Look, Roger, how come you're not picking stocks from the Pro Trader dashboard? How come you're picking stocks from somewhere else? Roger, where are you getting these stocks from? I'm confused. I'm always picking the top stock and I'm not getting the results you are. I'm going to show you guys something interesting right now. Okay. What's the number one stock right now on the dashboard? AAL, American Airlines. All the airlines are up. Look, LUV, AA. What is the number one stock? Good for you, Karen. You show them who the boss is. What's the number one stock right now? AAL, right? AAL, right there. My dashboard in real time. Okay, okay. All right. What does my 1000 have to say about that? See. Okay. AAL is also up here, right? Nice, Dalton. Nice. You know what? I'm noticing a pattern. Noticing a pattern. Tell me if I'm crazy, but I've noticed a pattern that folks who come here, listen to me, actually make money, real money, not some cockamamie paper trading, actually make money all the time, actually. Sometimes even consistently. I will. I'll block him when Matt comes back. I can't block him, but Matt will block him. I don't even think it's a person. I think it's a bot. So let me show you guys something. This is important. Richard noticed that a while back. All right. So nice, Sean. Good for you. So let me show you something. Show you an, an anomaly, a paradox. Good lesson here because everybody's always asking me. So are you getting the trade here? Are you getting the trade there? Are you get how do I so watch? Let me show you something. Let me show you something. A real life example. AL is the top of airlines are strong. We're using my dashboard. I'm really focused. I want you guys to focus. This is really important. I'm giving you guys some really good like stuff here. AAL, top, 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 top. AAL, plus we got the confirmation from other airline stocks being up. Obviously, the first thing I would be looking at is AAL, right? So then I go to my TC2000 and I want to see AAL. And guess what? AAL is right here. Oh, and look, AAL has the second out of all the airlines. You got LUV, UAL, AAL is up here. Has a good volume buzz too. Got a double whammy. Nice, Jim. So glad to hear that. But we got a double whammy, right? Right? So, so I would obviously pick AAL, wouldn't I? Well, I go to the chart of AAL, go to the chart of AAL, and what happens when I go to the chart of AAL? I mean, we're near the gap, but we're not there yet. We're below the 200-day moving average. Eh, eh. Richard, please let me just show you what I'm showing you, okay? You want to be the director, you could be you come over here, you fly out here, you come next to me, and I'll let you be the director. Till that time, let me direct the ship. Let me show you where I want to take you. So, I mean, according to this, and according to this, AAL is it. Well, Roger doesn't like the chart. So we went a little lower. We went a little lower. And in this case, we looked at other stocks. This case, just look, Delta. But Roger, Delta has a volume buzz of 162. AAL has a volume buzz of 200. AAL has higher volume. Also, look, Roger, before you get too happy, before you get where is Delta here? I don't see Delta here. Oh, it's here. Well, AAL is up here. The Pro Trader dashboard and your stupid volume buzz, they're all telling us to go long AAL, right? But when I look at a chart of Delta, Delta is here. AAL is here. Delta is here. So, so I have what do they call it? A mental when two things are misaligned in your mind. What is it called? Uh, there's yeah, quandary, but there's a dilemma. I have a cognitive dissonance. Yes, conundrum. That's it. Conundrum. Thank you. I have a conundrum. I have a conundrum. I have a conundrum. That's the word, conundrum. Because look, according to all my tools, I should be buying AAL. I know a lot of you would do that because I mean, look, it's number one on your here, it's higher here, and it's number one on your dashboard. This one, no, a conundrum. Conundrum. Look, let's be funny here. You got to have a little good time too sometimes, right? So, a conundrum. A conundrum. Look, AAL's here. Why would I even go? Why would I look down there? But when we look at the chart, Delta looks a lot better. So does that mean I'm always going to follow the top stock on the Pro Trader dashboard? Roger, you're not picking the top stock on the Pro Trader dashboard. Okay, fine. Do you guys understand? Or do I need to like spell it out for you? It's not a science. It's an art. I looked at the Pro Trader dashboard. I looked at the Pro Trader dashboard. Uh, Francis, you guys are keep on coming. I love these testimonials. I love it. So my point is my point is very, very simple here. Delta is not a top stock on my so what did I do? I zoomed out a little bit. I zoomed out. I didn't have to, I don't always have to be on the top stock here. Matter of fact, I showed you. I used this to tell me that airlines and cruise ships are strong. Oh, bingo, airlines and cruise ships are strong. Does that mean I have to be on the number one stock up here? No. That mean I have to be on the number one stock up here? No, no. My point is, we look at everything to, it just happened. This was a perfect example to show you this. Because yesterday somebody's like, how come you're not picking stocks that are on the top of your list? And I wanted to explain, look, this is why. Sometimes I rather do something else than pick the top stock on my list because the stock that I'm looking at is much higher on the chart. It's all of the things together, together. Do you understand? So if I'm looking at my list and I'm seeing airlines are strong, but I happen to find the 10th stock or the 15th stock and I happen to like it better on a chart, I'll always go with that one. Okay. I'm hoping that this is helpful to you guys. I'm hoping that this kind of gives you, and this is a really good example because I genuinely like both of these stocks. But the stock that's telling me that my indicators are telling me to buy are not the stocks. William says, are you going to show us how you made the trade or talk to someone on? I'm talking to you guys about the trade. I have no idea what you're talking about, William. I'm talking about trade. So first of all, the trade that I was going to show you, I've already showed you. That was Monster. We're now moving on to something else. I'm now showing you guys how always looking at being a robot and always looking at the top is not the same thing. William, I think you're watching a different show. I'm not talking to anybody in the chat, and I haven't been talking to anybody in the chat. I'm literally sitting here and explaining to you. I've already shown you two things: how and why I picked Monster, and I've also shown you exactly how I've picked how and why you shouldn't always pick strongest stock just because the stupid dashboard tells you. You should look at the chart. You should look at everything together at that. All right. So that's what I wanted to show you. Now, what about the broad market? Let's get into all of that. I'm actually doing a really good job of not talking to anybody in the chat today. All right, SPY. Always somebody unhappy. Always somebody unhappy. Actually, let me go to YouTube and say hello. Maybe they're happy over there. YouTube. Move this here. Oh, Don, Lori, Don Scampy. Hello there. Got 64 people there. Hey, Penny. I hear you, Penny. I hear you. Go wherever you want to go. Sean, send me an email. I'm not going to go into all of this reading. Just send me an email. All right. Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. Nice. Nice, David. Okay. So done and we'll move on. All right. Matt, we got that spammer in here. You got to kick him. You got to kick him to the curve. He's been spanning from the minute you came on. Tim Chrisman. Got to get him out of here. Okay. Okay. So broad market. I love what I'm seeing right now. I don't like the intraday price action, and I'm hoping it'll come up. But this rally was a little too much, too fast. Uh, there you go, Scott. That's a good way to look at things. Be careful here. We're breaking down. I want to see us above the VWAP intraday before we buy anything. I want us above the VWAP. Okay. If we keep breaking down, nothing good is going to happen. Okay. So far, volume is okay. I mean, not great. It's 11:30. It's about 12 million. Volume has not been strong last few days, but I am expecting to see something happening over the next 24 hours because we have PCE report, we have the employment data tomorrow, and we have Costco. Um, Micron, Micron is holding on really well. The rest of the market segment is not. SMH. Look at QQQ. Want to wait for it to be above 490 on SMH and 252 on SMH. Okay. Can you please kick Tim Chrisman out right now, Matt? Thank today before we finish the show. Okay. Um, so we're going to be really, really careful. It's great because you could right now see, look at all the stocks that look at all the stocks that have been going up. Look, basically, here's what you want to do right now if you're looking for trades. Market's doing this, right? You want to find stocks that are doing this or even moving higher. That's a good indication because when the market comes back, be higher. But my suggestion would be to wait till we're above the VWAP. Now, let me tell you stocks that I'm looking at. But honestly, I wouldn't be complaining because the last two trades in the pit, the VTR trade was the biggest gainer yesterday for those who held the swing trade. And Monster is, well, you all, Monster's not doing bad itself. Let's see if it's holding on actually. 163.20. Stock is going back to swing highs, doing very, very well, even in light of all of this craziness because cryptos are doing well. Okay. So anybody who got into this stock, remember we got into this stock at 150. I don't remember anymore. 150, what was it? 158, 9? Right here we were. No, excuse me, 150, 159 something. Monster, MSTR, MST. I call it Monster, MSTR. Okay. Stocks to the short side that I like. I like the stock to the short side. Thank you, Chris. 140.31. Everybody's everybody's a complaint. Best pack buying crude, buy natural gas. Also, whenever crude falls, natural gas rises. Also, they're not that correlated. Natural gas and crude oil. Columbus Day, we try not to do anything during holidays or half days because you don't have the volume. Every time I do something, I always kick myself in the butt. Last Christmas, remember guys, can you lower your volume, Matt, on your thing? Last Christmas I bought Novax. Remember that stock Novax? One of our 10 losers in the pit. Should have just drank my what do people drink? Eggnog and shut the up and relaxed. October 18th expiration, 135 put, little spready. 22 days to go. MTDR, 85 delta, 52.50 put, stop loss at 54. Yeah, I would say. I like a couple of energy stocks. Please don't pick both of them. Just pick one. I like this one, and I probably like Val better because it doesn't have the gap. Nice stop loss right here. Buy stop at about 58.12. 22 days out. Val 79 delta 57.50 put. Will somebody please repeat it for Jay? Thank you. WFRD. And I could assure you right now, if stocks are going down and breaking lows, institutions are dumping them. Yep, Sean, I agree with you on that one. Thank you, Brendan. We really appreciate your help. 100 as a buy stop, 22 days out, 72 delta, spready, 90 put. A lot of these are just don't have the liquidity. I do like the energies for shorts. Matt, cover your ears. 34.79. Yeah, the camera looks fantastic today. Really looks great.
Good.
Fantastic. 85 put, 35. It looks like a professional camera. 35 put, 85 delta, October 18th, APLS. All right, let's do the long side, okay? Do the long side. This pullback, this little pullback really threw me for a loop. I wasn't expecting such a pullback this morning. But this is good. We could take advantage of stocks towards the second half of the day. But I got to figure out which stocks are not going to be as impacted by the PCE report tomorrow. Financials are definitely out of the question. That's the sector that gets impacted the most. Also, we have Kane coming up in just a few minutes. Let me just give you a few of my bullish stocks. Have Kane come up. You're welcome, Jay. Remember, guys, I have a class tomorrow. It's a world premiere. I'm launching a new product. It's going to be very, very, very cool. Um, so I'm thinking. Okay. Autodesk. It's going to be at noon tomorrow, and Matt will post a link. By the way, notice how well it's holding up. It's not breaking down. I would put my stop right here, 263. 22 days out, 71 delta, 5 calls. High noon, right after VIP room tomorrow. FSLR, I like First Solar quite a bit today. Again, intraday, these are not intraday. 233.65. 22 days to go. Do a spread. Go right here, 252.50 call versus 55 call. See if you could do this for less than a buck five. Not do the 152.50 versus 252.50 versus 257.50 or less than $3. Yeah. Yeah, John. That's why I wanted you go. That's why I wanted you to buy MSTR in the pit yesterday. Like it wasn't a coincidence. I don't just randomly. Can somebody repeat ADSK, please? If not, I'll gladly repeat. APD 75 delta 290 call stop loss 284 here Autodesk. I think I gave you a spread on this one, maybe. Yes, I think it was no, you could do the 265 call. By the 265 call. By the way, not this weekend, but next weekend, next, I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm going to be in New York. I'm not going to be here. I will be working. I'll be traveling next Thursday. That's the only day I will not be around. Otherwise, I'll be working. And it's a working trip, so I will be around here. I will be here except for Thursday. And I will be here Thursday morning. Thursday morning. Good, Polly. Good. 48.80. 22 days out. ONON. October 18th expiration. 72 delta. 9 call. CTAS, and I only have one more to go, and then Kane can take over. 201 delta. I mean, 201 stop loss level. I'm losing my mind. 75 delta, 205 call. October 18th expiration. Last one, Ralph Lauren. I've been really hot and heavy on this stock. And by the way, it's got great relative strength. Be a good day trade possibility. 22 days to go, 78 delta, 190 call. That's all I've got. Now, all right. I'm really loving Matt's new camera. I like what I'm seeing here. This is good. All right. APD. Yeah, these are calls. APD was a call, and right here, 290 call. All right. Kane, would you take over and go over your goodies so that we can learn from you today? A lot of
Hey
folks have
guys,
been sending me nice emails and asking for Kane to come up here. So I'm looking forward to seeing Kane. There he is.
how's it going? Great to see you. Looks like we already have
we
a
can't hear you.
question.
I can hear him.
Can't.
Oh, you can. Okay, good.
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. So we already have a question, and I'll answer that. There's something I wanted to point out first, which I thought was pretty interesting, and maybe get some. We can get some of Roger's comment on it as well. But let's take a look at. Oh, by the way, if you're not in my Telegram already and you're interested, you can go to thetradingpub.com/Kane and get in on that. And someone asked for my YouTube as well, so I'll throw that in the chat, except I lost my chat. That's there. There we go. All right. So one thing that has been really interesting is if in a video yesterday, I talked about how in the S&P 500, it looked like, at least in the short term, on the way up, we may be limited to about 575 or 580. And today, if we look at the level where we opened, it was just below 575. It was like 570, it was 574.38. But the interesting thing that I wanted to note was that what was the high pre-market was exactly 575. See that? So what we've been noticing, or what I've been noticing, is increasingly more and more over the recent years is that a lot of the moves happen overnight. And a lot of these levels that we're looking for, they actually touch overnight. And then the next day, so if, for example, if yesterday I was waiting for 575, if I had a call on the S&P for 575, I say, oh, great, I'll set my target for 575. I never hit that target. Yes, maybe I got 574, excuse me. But if I wasn't watching or I wasn't paying attention, I wouldn't know to take profits right here. So we just have to be careful. At least I've been noticing that we have to be careful that sometimes the levels that we're looking for are hit overnight and we don't get the opportunity to trade it the next day. Because what if we gapped way down and we hit this overnight and we had gapped down, then I'd be looking at a loss instead of still a gain, right? So have you noticed that, Roger, where like
Yes.
a lot more and more overnight? Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't able to hear you earlier. I'm having some speaker issues, but now I can hear you just fine.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So this is just something that we need to take into consideration, and so it just speaks to trading smaller time frames. And also the other thing that I wanted to point out is that I think Roger was talking about the other day. I don't remember his language, but in my language, I call it liquidity. So markets trade from liquidity levels to liquidity levels. If there's no liquidity there, they move right through it. So in this S&P, there was liquidity here. There was liquidity here. Here it bounced off of liquidity. Here it traded at liquidity for a while, found liquidity down here. And up here, we're looking for it. Actually, the last week or so, we've been finding liquidity around the 571 level. So markets will move through prices until it hits liquidity and then move to the next level liquidity. And if you watch Roger's morning show, he gives you those lines. Those lines are liquidity lines where it's likely that we'll trade to these levels. And if we look at the intraday, so this is starting to speak to Sean's question. If we look right here, these were liquidity levels based on options gamma. So Roger does liquidity levels based on price action in the market, which is excellent. You should always do that. And to give ourselves a little bit more granularity, we can look at the actual option strikes, because what we're finding more and more is that options are are starting to represent a larger and larger amount of volume within the market. It's not just the underlying anymore. So, and that trend is probably going to continue because as people trade more and more options. So I like to look at the options strikes as well. And you'll notice that option strikes are almost always a whole dollar number. It's like 570, 575, 572, 574. Every once in a while, you might see certain symbols with strikes that are at the 250, but we very rarely get something like 571.33. That only happens if there's a stock split or something like that. So remember what I said, that markets trade from liquidity to liquidity. Well, if options are representing a large amount of liquidity, then the underlying is going to move right at these exact dollar levels. And so a lot of times you hear other guys talking about, oh, psychologically, people like whole numbers. And I go, yeah, maybe, but under in reality, people are trading options, and options trade out whole numbers. So it's not just psychological. There's a real reason why we tend to move around at whole numbers. And you can see that today, pre-market 575, we traded down to 572, then 571, back up to 572, back down to 571. Now we're almost back at 572. These are going to be important levels. So when I came in this morning, if you look at my Telegram channel
And
early on,
please post link to your Telegram here, okay?
oh yeah, I will do that. Yes. I'll do it in just a moment. So uh, when you at about half an hour after the open, I showed this gamma chart where we had a large amount of exposure at 575 and 574. That gave me a clue that probably we weren't going to make it above 575 today. We're probably going to stay below 575. And so far that has played out. So Sean's question is, well, once these levels are hit, what do we do? Well, throughout the day, the gamma picture changes. On most days, it doesn't change that much. So once you have a level, you have a pretty good level. But on a day like today, where you have a movement, a clear directional movement, then the gamma picture will start to change. And I ran a 0 DTE SPY. This was about 10 minutes ago. So you can see that the gamma picture has changed. So now, well, let's do it this way. Okay, so now you can see that 575 has definitely backed off, and the largest concentration is right here at 572 and 571. So where are we bouncing? We're bouncing between 571, 572. As long as gamma stays here all the way into the close, then it's going to be a battle between 571 and 572 into the close. And most likely we'll probably end somewhere in between. We don't necessarily hit an exact strike exactly right at the end of the day. So those are the two levels that I'm looking at. Of course, the gamma picture could change later in the afternoon, but for now, this has been holding strong for the last hour or so. So there's a lot of clues that we can take a look at, because the market maker is that hidden hand that always has to hedge themselves. That's the major theme of gamma. They always have to hedge themselves. So there are some questions. Actually, let me take a look at this chat, see if I don't see. I'm scrolling through. Sorry. Yeah, I don't see any new questions here. Okay. So, oh, futures. Don Carlos, yes. So what happens here is, did the market maker, if there is a whole bunch of 575 strike calls right here, did the market maker lose a bunch of money? The answer is no. They hedged themselves. And how do they hedge themselves in the S&P 500? Well, they can trade S&P futures. They don't have to play S&P SPY ETF. They don't have to do the exact underlying. They can do futures as well. So they will hedge themselves with futures, and so they didn't lose any money over here. They were trading all through the night and hedging themselves for this move. Uh, and the same is true for something like SMCI. Someone mentioned SMCI today. There's trading. There was a trading halt today, and the market maker would have been hedging themselves the whole time. They might have got caught off guard if the move was too fast, which sounds like it might have been for SMCI, but it's pretty rare that the market maker isn't able to hedge themselves in time. So one thing that I thought we'd go over, I'll maybe a couple minutes here, is certain questions that people like to ask. And sometimes it's difficult to find an answer, but Gamma doesn't necessarily give us the answer, but it gives us clues as to where things might move. So one question would be, for example, if you saw a chart like SE, and a lot of people are going, you still like this? It's still, was it risky to buy it here? And sometimes Rogers gives us something like this and people go, wait, it's overbought. It's overbought. Why would you buy into it? So remember, we trade from liquidity to liquidity.
Like
And
VST, like VST and MSTR.
right, right. Yeah, exactly. So we get a clue. So is MSTR done, or can it keep on going? So that's difficult to answer right here, except so we look to the left, we see, are there areas of liquidity? Do we trade? We trade from liquidity to liquidity. So the question is this a pocket of liquidity right here? It looks like it could be on a price chart. So we might try to confirm that with Gamma. So why don't I run that right now and just take a look? That's the wrong one. Oops. Okay, we'll let that run. Takes 30 seconds or a minute. Another question that we might ask is something like Visa. Visa got hit with news that the Department of Justice was going to sue them. And so we had this huge gap down, this continuation of the drop. And so some people might be asking, how far can it go? Is it safe? Am I trying to catch a falling knife? So we can try to answer that with Gamma. Gamma can tell us short term, but not necessarily a long-term picture. So in the short term, up until the nearest expiration, what do the options investors and the market makers, all of their interplay, what makes it likely? Is it likely that this could be a bottom, or is it likely that we can move even further? So we'll try to answer that question as well. Let me finish getting MSTR up.
One of the questions that I'm seeing come up, Kane, is whether you can use this on Thinkorswim, other platforms, and basically that's pretty much every variation I've seen is a variation of that question. So maybe you can just expand a little bit on that.
Yeah. So as far as I know, well, and if it was easily available, I wouldn't have written the software myself. Okay, so that's the simple question or the simple answer, but we can do things like this. So I do have a custom column where I can get numbers for gamma exposure. So we were looking at MSTR. We'll see how well this lines up in just a moment. So just say I'm looking out to October, the October expiration. I do have a custom column that calculates the at each strike and at each expiration. So you would have to do work to compile it all together in order to say across all expirations at the same strike. But at least to this particular expiration, I can see these gamma levels and I can see where there is maybe larger or smaller exposure. So we have a larger exposure over here at 158 to the upside. And the next largest one is 175, and then there's one over here at 180. So if I were looking at this, I say, okay, maybe there's some potential to go up to 180 out to by October 18th. That would be one way. So let's see what the chart actually looks like. And you can see that actually when I sum it across all expirations, then it doesn't look the same. 180 is kind of pie in the sky. And actually, we already passed our major exposure. So what we would want to see is over the next couple of days, do 165 and 170, do they start to grow? And 160 starts to shrink. If I don't see that, then 160 is going to continue to act as the largest magnet, and I would expect a pullback to 160. So unless these start growing and this starts shrinking, we would say that, okay, MSTR, we probably were pretty close. So can I shoot for 170? Well, if we start seeing exposure grow here, then yes. But otherwise, if the picture stays the exact same, then what we would expect, excuse me, is a pullback to that 160 level, which isn't too far. It's only halfway down the bar right here. And then maybe after that, the gamma picture changes, and then we could see a continuation. So the answer here would be maybe a pause first, and then maybe 170 or 180, but we would want to see that gamma picture start to develop over a little bit of time. And then, okay, I can look at 5N. I'll take one request, and then that will have to be it because I'm out of time. So just based on this chart, you would say that this is in a downtrend. We gapped down and traded lower. We broke the low of the gap down on the earnings gap down, and it's not looking great. It went back up and touched that low, and we're trading below it. Maybe we'll touch it again. Mostly it's trading sideways over the last few weeks, but overall that trend is down. So if I wanted to short 5N, what I would want to see is overall negative gamma exposure. Let me run this while I talk. And I would want to see overall negative gamma exposure, and I want to see a clear winner on one of these strikes below where we are right now. We're at about 28. So maybe, and it would have to be significant enough below. Otherwise, there's just not enough room in the trade for us to make, for the reward risk ratio to be attractive. So we'll let that run. And I'm working on getting a constant feed and real-time data so I don't have to run each one at a time. So it's in the works. We're going to keep on working on this and make the tools like nice and tight. For now, they're usable by me and probably about no one else. So we'll get it to a point where it'll be usable by everyone. Okay. So overall, our gamma exposure is barely negative. What this is showing me is that there's just not a lot of attention on 5N. You can see that the amount, the exposure level is well below 1 million. It's only about 100,000, 170,000. And we have it's the 250,000 on this 25 strike. So it's not super followed. So that would turn me off. That doesn't mean that this won't go down or it can't go down. It's just that I can't expect huge institutional backing on it, and so probably won't go down really fast. Right now, we do have that large exposure, negative exposure at 25. So 25 is looking pretty good. So the question is that enough movement downside for you to make enough money? And so you'd have to take a look at the option that you pick and see if that's juicy enough for you. And that was also in a about 1 month time frame, October 18th expiration. And so without institutional backing, that's probably why it's chopping sideways. So institutions probably participated in the earnings announcement. But I'm sorry. uh, but not doesn't look like they've been doing it after that. And so I wouldn't expect this to move quickly to 25. And if you're doing a single options trade, then that theta, that time decay is going to affect your trade. So that would be a consideration as well. So I think I'm out of time. So we'll leave it there. If you have any questions,
you could always come back next week and we can continue.
Yeah. And if you have any
great.
questions, knet.investpub.com, or you could, shoot me an email there and I'll be happy to answer.
And thank you once again. I appreciate you coming on here.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Of course. Hope you're enjoying this market action because it's something, you know.
In my Telegram the other day, just because everything was so dead, it's like, oh, let's do a fun trade, a little bit of a gamble trade. That one ended up losing $2, but yeah, $2 total, not $2 on the strikes.
Of course. Krishna Kane is going to be coming back so much that you'll be seeing him almost every day. He's going to be going full time here at the pub with us. As a matter of fact, he's going to be coming out to Florida, visit us pretty soon in a couple of. So that'll be a lot of fun. We look forward to having you with us, Kane. And I know that all the feedback has been really, really great. So it's going to be a wonderful fit for everybody, and everybody loves hearing about this. So thank you for that. Matt, you still have some time. You want to do?
Well, we got to get over to.
Is it 12 or 12:30?
It's 12.
Oh, all right. Sorry, guys. I'm going live to customer service live right now. Kane, thank you once again. Have a great day, guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.